Hi, this is Fro. I decided to split the cockpit out separately. I ended up doing some dry fitting it to the fuselage. I did this to help hold its shape while I glued the base together. I did use some epoxy sculpt for the bottom seam. It worked out pretty well to fill the gap. Here I'm just putting some detail on the instrument panels and the seats, figuring out the best way to get them lighted. I did decide that the interior was too dark and needed a way to bring some light to the front, so I added a fiber optic cable just to act as a light source. The front of the cockpit was pretty plain, and I needed a way to hold the fiber in place, so I took a part off of another model that seemed to fit the look of the cockpit and used that to hold it in place. I also needed to add some lighting for the rear of the cockpit and decided to build a little holder for this. Took just a little bit of fitting and positioning of the LEDs to make sure they lined up with the instrument panels at the back of the cockpit. To make sure I didn't have any light leaks, I needed to cover the gap between the LEDs holder and the cockpit itself. So I just cut a strip of styrene out and glued that around. It came out pretty well. To make sure I didn't cause any hazing to the clear plastic when I put it in the cockpit itself, I used a white cockpit glue, which should cut down on the hazing. When I did actually assemble it, I did use a couple of drops of CA cement to make sure I had a good bond. Using a drop or two at a time, you can usually avoid any hazing of the clear plastic, and then follow it up by an accelerator. The fit between the top and the bottom assembly was pretty terrible. I tried using epoxy sculpt again, but didn't have any luck. It just ended up pulling off the plastic. I ended up using squadron putty, and it came out with better results. And I just sanded it down, checked the seams, and redid it. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed it.